Tebow mania versus Brady's legacy. You talk about picking between your kids. Skip, this is going to be a tough week for you. This is going to be very tough. Fresh off a record-setting playoff debut, Tim Tebow and the Denver Broncos will steamroll into Gillette Stadium this weekend. But waiting for the wild horses will be Tom Brady and the Patriots, who beat Denver by 18 points in Denver. That was 4 weeks ago. Denver's passing game, second from the bottom. New England's passing game, second from the top. The way Vegas sees it, the Patriots are 13.5 points better than the Denver Broncos. Stands to reason that was close to the spread the first time around. Is that line too high, though, too low, or just right in New England?
What you just said is the reason why it is what it is, because it's Vegas. They need people to bet. Really, this line is too low.
Wow.
If you look at these teams, if you look at the last game, if you look at the fact you got an all-timer in Tom Brady, if you look at the fact that it's in Foxborough, yeah, this points to being a blowout, much more so than 13.5 points. But 13.5 points or higher scares bettors, okay? It doesn't matter who the quarterback could be. The quarterback could be you. The quarterback could be me. 13.5 points is a lot of points, and Vegas wants people to wager on this game. But to me, if you look at the essentials, if you look at everything I just mentioned just now, this game spells blowout, okay?
So worse, it was 18 the first time, 18-point win.
You think it's 3 touchdowns?
You know what? I mean, I could see this thing getting out of hand so fast.
Tebow hater!
I could see this thing being, you know, the New England Patriots winning this game by 3 touchdowns or more. But that's not going to happen. You're not going to see a line of 21 points. But I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game, the New England Patriots, by 21. I think the spread is too low.
41-23 last time. At halftime, it was 27-16. Let's go back to last weekend's game in Mile High, okay? You've got Tebow that threw for 316 yards. I got to think, and this is me personally thinking, I'm not going to any statistics here, that the Pittsburgh Steelers' second-string defense is better than the New England Patriots' first-string defense. And when they played weeks ago when Denver was up in New England, Tebow was still kind of getting his grasp. Tebow was probably still a deer in headlights. I think there's 13.5 based upon what I've seen last week and what I see.
What about the 3 weeks before that, though?
But I mean,
well, get the 3 weeks before that.
No, you're going back to a month of football. I'm talking about last week. What have you done for me lately? Not what have you done for me before the game before last.
I'm going back 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and 4 weeks ago.
When you talk about 2 weeks ago. I'm talking about last week and a victory over a defense that's better than the New England Patriots.
Okay.
I've got to believe that the defense, who's real stagnant in New England, isn't going to be able to do what they did the first go-around with Tebow, because he's more of a professional passer.
Well, we saw a different side. Yeah, we saw a much different side to Tim Tebow than we'd seen before.
Yeah.
The deep Tim Tebow.
Really? A different side than you saw against New England the first time?
As they say, Skip, he was unleashed. He was unleashed.
I thought he was leashing pretty well the first time against New England 4 weeks ago.
It was a different kind of unleash.
The brakes fell off eventually.
Okay, let's look back at what happened 4 weeks ago. And this is why I think this spread is a little too high. I'm not going to say it's a lot too high. I'm not going to make a big case right now.
Where would you put it, 10?
Yeah. Under 10.
Under 10.
Most bettors are afraid of double digits.
I would say about
the double-digit line, that is a line that makes people say, wait a minute, double-digit dog.
Okay, do I fear Tom Brady throwing against this Denver? You better believe I do. He threw for 320 at Denver, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But what I would fear if I'm New England is, can Denver's offense keep Tom Brady on the sideline for too long in this game? And there's a high probability this will be the case, which is why that line's too high. Denver rushed for 167 yards in the first quarter. It's impossible against a Belichick defense, isn't it? I mean, it's never happened.
It was, but okay. It should be pointed out what happened the rest of the game.
But wait a second.
The adjustments were made.
So Tebow and company, the guy who can't play, so he takes his offense down, big, long touchdown drive, touchdown. Yeah. Big drive, touchdown. It's all of a sudden 14, then it was 14-7. Then here he comes again, big, long drive. It gets to 4th and 1 at the New England 8-yard line. And what does John Fox do?
Yes.
I think I'll take a field goal when I got a guy who can't be stopped for a yard, the quarterback, who just runs through people. You don't think Tim Tebow could have gotten that yard, that touchdown, and made it? They'd missed an extra point, so it would have made it 20-7 at that point. Could they have hung on? I don't know, but I like the psychologically, 20-7 feels a lot different to me than 16-7.
Well, I think that was the same lead they had over Pittsburgh.
Okay, there you go.
And they couldn't hold back.
20-6. Yeah.
20-6.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's very simple.
Then what happened in the second quarter? Fumble by Lance Ball. Fumble by Tim Tebow. Fumble by Quan Cosby. And they handed Tom Brady 17 of the easiest points he will ever score. And all of a sudden at halftime you're saying, my God, the route's about to be on here. And it was on. So you tell me, will Denver turn the ball over 3 times in the second quarter this Saturday night? I don't think so. I think they're better than that now. I think they have, as you say, they've grown up a little bit. They feel better about themselves. They had just won 7 of 8 going into the New England game. Remember, Skip's Tebow bandwagon went to Denver that Friday. Right, yeah. And they weren't quite sure, could they play with a good team, a really good team, a team that I picked to win the Super Bowl? And the truth was, they weren't ready to. Yeah. Just psychologically. They weren't mentally tough enough to hang in that game.
Let me tell you something. Your guy, and I said this yesterday, your guy has earned the title or the moniker gamer. He is a gamer. But I always talk about the psychology of sports. Does this not feel like a scenario where the Denver Broncos are going to get blown out? Does it not feel like the scenario where this situation is too big for even Tim Tebow at this point in the season and the year? I don't know. At the end of the day, they might keep it close because of the defense. But ultimately, I think Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, with Bill Belichick calling the plays, they roll over the Denver Broncos.
Fine. Let me just say that after that New England game, Trent Dilfer said on our network, by far the best game Tim Tebow has played as a pro, dramatic improvement. He had nearly 100 yards rushing and nearly 200 passing. Do I think he'll be the reason they lose at Foxborough? Heck no, I don't.
No way in the world.
No.
And you're overlooking the Denver defense that has done a good job for this ball club. You're overlooking Champ Bailey.
No, I'm not.
You're overlooking
I'm
Zoomerville.
The defense will probably keep them in it to a point. I just think this situation, this storyline is way too big for Tim Tebow, especially the way he's at this point.
I'll buy part of what you're saying because this is going to be the flip side of the Pittsburgh game. It's going to look very different because Belichick will say, you can't beat us deep. They're a zone team by nature.
They're going to hit him every time.
What I'm saying is they'll play back. They'll say, you're not, Demaryius didn't get it behind our coverage. We're going to play zone the way we usually do. If you can run it and beat us running it, you can have it. And that's what it will force Denver to run the ball way more than they did against Pittsburgh, because against Pittsburgh just saying, you can't have the run.
Yeah, they took it away they took
McGahee away. McGahee was very little
factor. What you have in this game is a situation where they get behind 14, 17 points, and then they're restricted to have to try to pass.
That would be trouble.
If they're put in a position where they have to pass,
they don't want to fall
over.
Totally agree.
Yeah, they don't want to fall behind. I think, Doug, there might be a small part of you that when you're speaking of the Patriots, you're thinking of the old Patriots. Remember, I mean, you're talking about this mystique that New England has at home in the playoffs. That's gone.
See,
isn't it?
What you're basically saying with your heart is what Stephen A. always says, please save me, New England, save me. That's right?
Right. Well, maybe that has something to do with it.
All right.